Yeah. Oh boy. Welcome back to another episode of Talkin' Tongue. Hello everyone. Hi. I missed you. I did. How's everyone doing? What do we got here? We just finished a live show or big live stream day of we just did the improv punch up like 10 minutes ago. Really funny stuff from the Pod Cavern Ottawa guys, and I was like, you know what? We need more live streaming today. There's not enough of them. Nobody does enough live streaming in the day, and you know what? Pod Cavern has stepped up on the podium and said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to live stream the heck out of the day. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. What's going on? All right. So right now we got one person watching, but that's fine. That's what the live stream's all about, baby. You're able to jump in later. You're able to come say hi later. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. So I always like to start off and say what the show's about. Talkin' Tongue. This is episode 3. We've done 2 of these episodes before. Thinking about doing a different type of more often. I think like I'm thinking about maybe doing this show more often. Maybe bi-weekly when I'm not so busy. Because right now I'm talking about stuff that came out earlier in the month, and now you're gonna be like, Tongue, why are you even talking about this? It's old news now. It's old news. I don't even want to hear about it. But hey, you know what? If you're gonna watch this, you gotta hear about it. So. And I hope you do. I hope you enjoy. So Talkin' Tongue is the Facebook live show where we talk about, or where I talk about, just some of my favorite pop culture things that have come out this month. We talk about anything that's come out specifically this month. And we're trying to, what am I trying to say? Yeah, that's pretty much a good description of it. My favorite things that's come out this month that I have seen. There's a lot of things that I'm like, damn it, I wish I saw that for Talkin' Tongue, but I didn't. What's new with me? What's new? I just literally came back, oh man, like an hour ago to see Wicked. Wicked was like the musical about the Wizard of Oz, or specifically about the Wicked Witch of the West and her journey to become the Wicked Witch of the West. And that was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed that. Laura loves musicals, and actually it was me that was like, we got to see this. It's in Toronto. We're like decently close to Toronto. Let's go see some theater. So that was really fun. We also went to New York earlier this month, which I really enjoyed too. We did a lot of exploring, spent a lot of money, but ate a lot of food, which was nice. Did some exercising, which is very odd to do on vacation. I did more exercising in New York than I have ever done that I've done like in Waterloo in the last couple months. So that was interesting for me. But you know what? Hey, I gotta live my best life, and living my best life, if that means exercising on vacation, then I gotta do it. And then what did we do? We did like some tandem biking in Central Park. We did like, we saw some improv shows, which was really fun. Saw UCB, which is one of my favorite just shows to see. I love the music way too much. Oh, thank you, Chris. And a face only a mother could love, Alexandra. I love you too, buddy. So with some improv shows, one of my favorite things we saw was something called Batsu. Now, Laura surprised me with this thing. She's like, this is a Japanese game show, improv show. And I'm like, what on earth is that? And turns out it's exactly what it sounds like. It's an improv show, but if you fuck up, you're going to get some Japanese game show type shit go on to you. So what happens was like, they're like playing like a whatever improv game. And then right away, boom, you're tased. You're being tasered, like after you fuck up, or you can get paintball shot at you, or you're gonna drink some mop water, or eat some sushi off this like sumo guy's like belly, and take a shot of soy sauce from his belly button. It was insanity. So if you're ever in New York, Batsu, check it out. That's a free plug for you, Batsu. I know you need it. Went to see some musicals. Went to see My Fair Lady, Once on This Island, SpongeBob the musical, which I've been listening to nonstop. I earlier, it might be recorded somewhere in a different podcast thingy, but earlier in the month, I was 100% shitting on the idea of a SpongeBob musical, and when I saw it at the Tony Awards, like on TV, I was like, this sounds stupid. SpongeBob musical, like what on earth is that about? But you know what? Turns out I was wrong. Turns out it was hilarious. So enough about that. I want to get into some Talkin tongue stuff. But before we get started, I can notice right away that the room is getting dark, and I should have preemptively turned on the lights. So let me turn on the lights. Give me a second. It's the thing about live production, folks. You can't pause it. You can't pause it no matter what. Let me just adjust this. Okay, so I want to right away talk about some, and I'll pull it up here. Boom. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Exandra, apparently it's really good. I still need to listen to SpongeBob. Dude, you gotta. It's actually a really, really fun musical. I 1000% recommend it. It's something about the production of how they did it that like really stuck with me. And I was a pretty big fan of SpongeBob growing up, and then I kind of like teetered and tottered. I was like, whatever, SpongeBob. I kind of grew out of it. And then when I was watching it, it was like I was a kid again. It was phenomenal. It was really, really fun. Serena, hello. Thank you for joining. Just wanted to say hi to you. So Ant-Man and the Wasp. It's really good. It's really good. And this came out earlier in the month. Oh boy. Sorry. People are messaging me. It came out earlier in the month, and it was such a breath of fresh air. You know, we've had a lot of heavy superhero movies in the last forever. And then I was like, you needed a breath from it, because spoilers, in Infinity War, people, they kind of disintegrate. Spoilers for Infinity War, but you know what? If you're gonna see that, you would have saw that on opening day. Come on, biggest movie of all time. What do we got here? Alexandra, Wasp was fun, but felt a lot like a filler episode. Best part was the credits scene. Oh, we'll get to that. Hold your horses there, buddy. Actually, you know what? Let's play some footage of Ant-Man and the Wasp in the background while we do some chatting here. Let me see here. Again, live production's a little tough, so you gotta bear with me while I'm just tweaking around the stuff here. Okay. All right. Sweet. Nope, that is not Ant-Man and the Wasp. That is spoilers for the next thing that we're going to be watching. Yeah, I don't know if I would say it's a filler. I mean, it was definitely a breath of fresh air from what I needed in a superhero movie, honestly. It was just a lot of fun, and that's kind of what the first Ant-Man was like. When the first Ant-Man came out, I remember when I went to the theater on the first Ant-Man, and there was, on opening day, there was like nobody in the theaters, and that was my realization where I'm like, man, the superhero bubble, it burst. Like, nobody wants to see superhero movies anymore. You have Paul Rudd, a huge comedy star. You have the Marvel, the biggest juggernaut of superhero franchises ever, and you put them together, you expect a big hit. But no, there wasn't really a lot of people that came out for Ant-Man. Although, you know, over time, people are like, oh man, you know what? The first Ant-Man, really, really funny. Second one, I would say it builds on that and it's even more funny. And I had way more fun with it than the first Ant-Man, which I really enjoyed. And yeah, the story itself is, it's just a summer action, summer action, but more like summer comedy that you can enjoy with some cool superhero shit that kind of ties into like all the other Marvel stuff later. So we have like, and you know, people on the internet are saying, this is a palate cleanser. This is a palate cleanser, and it's perfect. And I agree, because like the next thing that we're going to be seeing is not until, I think, next year, early next year. It's going to be Captain Marvel, which I assume is going to be fun, but probably pretty serious too. And for me, we have a friend of the show, Samantha Leggett, who does a lot of the ranked episodes, and we talk about who your Hanks is. So for her, what a Hanks is who's your Tom Hanks equivalent. So anybody, any actor that you see that when you see them on screen, you're like, I know this is going to be a better movie because this actor's in it. And Paul Rudd is my Hanks. I enjoy everything more because he's in it. So I don't want to go into spoiler territory too much. And when I do the spoilers, I'll put up a thing here that says spoilers. But basically, I want to talk about where they are in the timeline. So we have Scott Lang, and he's on house arrest. And this is happening after the events of Civil War, but before the events of Infinity War, save for possibly, the last credit scene, which I'll talk about later. And we take it from there. It's just Scott Lang on house arrest. He's just trying to be a decent human, and so he can spend more time with his daughter and get out and be a better father. And that's kind of the theme of this movie is how it's about family and how Scott kind of would do anything for his daughter, for his family. And then going back to Hank Pym and the name is escaping me. Oh God, it's Evangeline Lilly's character. I forget her name right now. Evangelion, like the anime. Evangeline Lilly's character as Wasp. She's the Wasp. And their journey to find their family, their missing mom, in the quantum realm. So that's kind of the overarching story, is that they have to get Scott, who's been in the quantum realm, to help them find the secret to find their mom, Janet Van Dyne, and then they go on a bunch of different adventures and whatnot, and all that stuff. So we have Michael Pena's character and his crew that come back, and one of my favorite parts of the movie, like in the first movie, was just Michael Pena like monologuing. So I remember when he was doing that, I did like an audible yell in the theater. I'm like, yes, he's doing that thing, that really funny thing where he's monologuing, and he's doing the voice of a bunch of characters on screen. We want to talk about the villain in the story. We want to talk about Ghost. So Marvel has a famously bad, lack of a better word, lineup of villains that have appeared in their movies. And I will say that it's hard for me I have to watch this movie again, because when I watched it, I was like, Ghost, the female villain, who can phase through walls and stuff like that, is not too bad. I thought she was a fine villain. I thought she wasn't really that much of a villain. In fact, she didn't do too many things that were like bad. But all she was doing was that she was really just trying to heal herself. So she wanted to make it back to the quantum realm to fix herself. And she did some things that were like, okay, you're towing the line to become a bad guy. And maybe you fought the heroes in the movie a little bit here and there, but she didn't really I don't remember her killing anybody, or really, she threatened to hurt like Scott's daughter, but that was about it. So in terms of being an actual villain, I don't think she really was, but they needed something to like be a threat in the movie. And all her scenes of like phasing in and out was really fun too. Oh, Laura just got home, and now she's going to be listening to me. Hi, hello. That's embarrassing. I should have closed the door. And let's see, let's move on. Anything in the comments here? Nothing yet. So I want to talk about Randall Park's character. He plays Agent Woo. Agent Woo's like the FBI agent. He's like a really minor character in the Marvel comics. And I would say Randall Park's another one of my like mini Hanks, where anytime I see him, I'm like, yes, Randall Park. He was just another good, funny voice in the movie, and did a lot of heavy lifting in terms of the humor. We actually saw one of the bad guys at when we saw the UCB show in New York, and that was really cool. They're like, oh, we're bringing out a star in the Marvel universe. We're like, oh my god, Michael Pena is going to be on stage doing improv, but it was just like a minor FBI character, which it was kind of cool to see that guy not be a bad guy on real life on stage. Let's see. My thoughts are everywhere. I just wrote a bunch of things that I thought were kind of like that I just needed to shout out. I want to talk about Abby, the daughter. The kid actor was really, really funny in the movie, so I really enjoyed that. And her, just like what she contributed to the movie, and just she had a lot of good lines and stuff like that to help with Scott's development. All right, let's talk about some cons. Lawrence Fishburne. Lawrence Fishburne, as we know, as from The Matrix, right? Or from a bunch of other movies too, but I'm like, Lawrence Fishburne, Matrix, boom. But he played Goliath, or I forget his like regular name. That's not Goliath, but the first person to go huge, the first person to do like the giant man thing, but he wasn't as giant as like Ant-Man's giant man. I thought he was underused. I thought it's like cool to have him there, but overall I wanted to see him do more. Although the way they set it up, we might see his character later. Judy Greer and Bobby Cannavale, just like in the first movie, underused. I like them both as actors, but I mean, like what they are in the movies, like a mom and dad to Scott's daughter, like they're not going to do too much in the film. And here they also don't do too much besides kind of, they do less in this movie than they did in the first movie. So it's good to see them, but you basically have like these pretty big all-star actors that aren't doing too much on screen. Walton Goggins, he's plays Sonny Birch. He's like one of the other main antagonists in the movie who kind of put a wrench in Scott Lang's plans and Hank Pym's plans. And I thought he was not underused, actually. I think he's from what's it called? It's some HBO show, I think. It's like a Western. Maybe it's not HBO. I don't know. I didn't do my research on Walton Goggins, but apparently he's pretty huge. But he was not underused. He was actually shown on screen quite a bit, but every time I saw him, I'm like, he's such a generic bad guy. It seems to be a great actor, but just everything he said on screen was like, okay, you're the bad guy, I get it. And he's also working for a guy we don't see ever. I guess I should put up the spoilers icon here. So let's put that up here. Boom. So in terms of spoilers with the movie, that, you know, what should we start with first? So Janet Van Dyne, we eventually do see her, which that moment where Hank Pym and Janet are reunited is really sweet. It's really nice. He worked so hard to get to her, and see him in the original Ant-Man suit in a way, or like a shrinkable suit, was nostalgic in a way that I'm like, I'm nostalgic somehow, but we never really saw Michael Douglas in the original Ant-Man suit, really. So for some reason, I'm nostalgic that the original Ant-Man and the Wasp are reunited. But that scene was really, really good. Some highlights is Paul Rudd as a kid trying to get the suit in the school. If you've seen this scene, there's actually a little part in the trailer where you see him. Really, really funny. There's another part in the movie where Paul Rudd is possessed by Janet, and he's like has a really feminine voice, and she's controlling him to direct Michael Douglas and Evangeline Lilly's character to her in the quantum realm, and again, it makes some great humor. Every scene with the shrinking and making things big, like with the Hello Kitty thing, or like having like a suitcase full of like Hot Wheels cars and making them huge, it's just a treat. Even in this scene here, as you can see, the giant man, he goes huge in this movie, which is really fun too. We have, of course, okay, and here's the big one, is the mid-credit scenes is the Infinity War ending. Now, you kind of expected it. Like the entire movie, it makes you kind of forget that you saw Infinity War, and then you get to it and you're like, oh my god, like like this whole movie was a lot of fun, and then at the very end they just have to gut punch you. So Janet is finally saved. Like she's out of there, and in fact at some point you're like, is she gonna be a villain? But nope. But she's finally saved, and now they have to get some quantum energy from the quantum realm to help Ghost, because now they're friends for some reason. Ghost lives because Janet gave her, she has like powers coming out of it, and she kind of heals Ghost a little bit from phasing in and out. So Scott's going into like Michael Pena's like trailer or like truck into the quantum realm to like get quantum particles to kind of heal their friends. And while that's happening, you see it coming from a mile away, but it still just hits you in the gut anyways. That Thanos snap, like bam, and then the last thing you see is just a bunch of disintegrated dust of all your favorite characters that you really, really liked throughout Ant-Man and the Wasp, or it'll be the main three. Well, you got Wasp, you got Hank Pym, and you got Janet Van Dyne, and they're all gone. And it leaves Scott in the quantum realm, which makes things super, super juicy for everything going forward, which I think is really great for the Marvel Universe. They keep finding ways to make things exciting in the universe. Like, they don't leave them where they started. A lot of movies are like, all right, we're gonna start pretty good, bad shit's gonna happen, but no matter all this bad shit, we're gonna revert back to everything's fine at the end. Now the Marvel movies have like reached to a point where like they can just leave their characters wherever, really. And so where we have right now is that Scott is kind of in limbo, and we don't know how he's gonna get out. All we know is that time travel is gonna be involved somehow in the next Avengers movie, and that's as far as I know, so it's not really spoilers to say so, I don't think, but somehow Scott's gonna harness his energy, I guess, to go back in time to do some stuff. I'm not sure. I'm not completely sure. Anyways, that's Ant-Man the Wasp. I really, really enjoyed it, as you can probably tell from all of the nerding out that I did for that. And I would see that again, 100%. I'm surprised I didn't go ahead and see it again in theaters. Oops, I am just clicking all these buttons now, and hang on. There we go. And there we go. I will never get used to this live producing thing. I keep clicking all the wrong buttons. I need an assistant. That's what I need. I need an assistant to help me with this. Let's see here. Have a little sip here. Some spiced rum and Diet Coke, because I'm trying to be healthy. Spiced rum from the duty free when we came back from New York. So cheap. But you know what? I have an opinion on this. They always have deals at the duty free where it's like 2 for $30, but you can only bring one bottle back. So it's kind of a tease, well, per person. So it's kind of a tease, unless like you and whoever you're with are like, hey, that person is going to take that second bottle, so I can take advantage of that deal. Otherwise, you're kind of screwed. You just have to buy a single bottle. Well, you're not really screwed because it's way cheaper. But I digress. That's a silly point to make, but that's my opinion on it. Yeah, it's a hot take. Okay, so the next movie I want to get into is, well, you've probably already seen it, and it's not really a spoilers, but here we go. Boom. Actually, hang on. I have to send this quick thing here. Okay, that's the most fun thing to see on a live stream, is somebody sending a text message. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at Skyscraper. And let's see here. There we go. There he is. In all his glory. Skyscraper. So I'll be honest. Coming up with topics for this month's Talking Tongue was a little bit hard for me. I was like, I don't really know what I want to talk about this month. I have no idea. I knew about Ant-Man right off the get-go, but I was looking through the list of things, and I'm like, I was in such a place where I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I have to buy a video game. Like I'm gonna have to buy a video game so I can have something to talk about in Talking Tongue, which is the worst reason to go buy a $90 video game. So I didn't. I was like, I'm gonna go. I need something done. I was like, this month has been so busy with so busy with vacation. That makes me busy. But also just I was doing a lot of editing for work. I was actually doing like a wedding edit, which took a lot of my time. So it made me not able to watch anything or play anything. But now that's over. So I was like, oh my God, this happened like a couple days ago where I'm like, okay, it's over. And I need something to watch right away. And people kept talking about how great Skyscraper was. And I'm like, are you serious? The movie with Dwayne Johnson? I mean, it looks pretty stupid. But then I realized I'm like, I need a stupid movie in my life right now, something that I can just turn my brain off and just go. And honestly, this movie is exactly that. This movie, like, I'm not gonna dress it too much, but like it's not really that great of a movie, but it's a really, really good B movie. If you want a movie that don't think about it. Like the logic in it, the whole story, the whole premise of it makes very little sense if you think about it too hard. But if you just want something fun and like that's done well, like there's some really fun action stuff, then I would recommend Skyscraper. Now, I will say after we're recording this on July 29th, just 2 days ago, we had Mission Impossible 6 come out. And part of me wishes that I went to see that instead if I was going to watch an action movie. But, you know, I've never actually spoilers, I've never seen like any of the Mission Impossible movies, and I'm definitely the person who's like, even though everyone's talking about how great Mission Impossible 6 is, I gotta know what happens between 1 and 5. I have to know. And you could be like, oh yeah, well you could find out if you just watch 6 and then go back and watch 1 to 5. I'm like, no, I have to do it in chronological order the first time I do it, because I'm stubborn like that. So let's talk about a little bit. Oh, actually, let's find that picture here. And I'm going to go a little AWOL off my original plan, but Skyscraper Parabola, I think it's called. Someone made this great thing here. And let's see if I can... it's kind of hard to see, but you might have seen this picture already, but some mathematician spent like an hour drawing out where Dwayne Johnson would fall if you were to jump off that like giant crane. And I think it's hilarious. Like this movie defies logic so many times, but this part of the movie happens. Like it's a really big part where he's just gunning it for the building and there's fire underneath, so you really can't fuck it up. He has to jump through that window. And I love how like this, like no matter how, like no matter where he's jumping from, he's gonna fall all the way to the ground or into the building under that fire. So there's no way he can actually make it into the building. I thought that was really entertaining picture. But again, like this movie, you don't have to think about it. It makes no sense most of the time how he does things. But there's some charm to it, and I really like that. I think the Dwayne-assance, no, the Rock-assance, no, Dwayne Johnson, whatever. The era of Dwayne Johnson. Laura's just looking at me. She's like, what are you even talking about? I'm gonna call it the Dwayne-assance. Yeah, let's do that. Is still going strong. He does like 3-4 movies a year. He's probably one of the highest paid actors right now, and I think he's going strong. He's still a likable guy. I think he hasn't run out of steam yet. Someone put like a supercut of his trailers together, and if you put like a bunch of like his movies and scenes are really interchangeable. You could be like, this scene right here, that's from Rampage. This scene right here, that's from San Andreas. This scene right here is from Baywatch or whatever. They all look kind of similar, or Fast and the Furious. So let's go back. This is a really good B movie. Let's see, what am I writing here? This had some surprising tension and some fun stuff. I already said that. Let's talk about the skyscraper itself. The skyscraper... It's huge. Like obviously, the movie's called Skyscraper. Like they do a comparison at the beginning of the movie where like it's like 5 times the size of like the Empire State Building, or like even bigger than that. I can't remember the actual size of it, but it's so big that it goes into like the clouds and stuff like that, costing billions and billions of dollars. And like at some point, I'm like, all right, I'm kind of interested in seeing what's in this skyscraper, and they do very little to show you what else is in the skyscraper between like except for like 3 floors. There's like the lobby floor. In the middle, there's like this like nature zone floor, and you're like, okay, maybe there's more to this skyscraper than I thought. But then they like give that up entirely. Apparently, like, there's pandas and stuff in the skyscraper, but you don't ever see a single panda once in the movie. And then there's like the residential floor where only Dwayne Johnson works right now, or he lives in his family. And then there's like the god tier floor where just like the guy who owns the building is all the way at the top, and he just has his like penthouse and stuff like that. And that's all you see in the skyscraper, which is kind of disappointing because in a movie called Skyscraper, you're probably expecting a tall building, which it delivers, but B, like what else is in this giant building? Turns out not much, not much at all. And this movie, let's see, we have The Rock himself jumping from, like, some of the most exciting things in this movie is that The Rock jumps from one tall thing to another tall thing, like somehow, and like I should mention off the get-go, his character, Will Sawyer, believe it is. He's like an amputee. Like he had a really dark past in the beginning of the movie where he was like an FBI agent or something like that who made a wrong call, and he was caught in an explosion, and his leg got like torn off from the explosion, and now he's an amputee. And so the entire movie, he's kind of like running around with this like fake leg, this amputee leg. And it actually makes the movie way more fun because he does some really fun stuff, like fight with like no, like just here it is. There you see his leg over here. So you see a lot of fighting with him, like with his leg off, or like he's like uses his leg to like stop a door from like this really like not stainless steel, like this really big, huge security door, and somehow his like amputee leg, like his super amputee leg, like level 10,000, puts it in front of the frame while it's closing, and he just stops the door from moving. It's really stupid. And he could do a lot of stuff with that leg. Like he climbs like that crane that you see that from that picture that I showed earlier in like less than 10 minutes. He beats everybody who like took the elevator. Oh, here we go. 3,500 feet is how big the skyscraper is. He beats everybody to the top of that crane who took the elevator, which is completely ridiculous. There is like a room of like at the top of the building. There's like this giant pearl. That's what they call it. And there's basically, for some reason, a room full of mirrors. They're like, the pearl can do anything. And you're like, okay, what can it do? And it's all it is like really expensive, like 8K LEDs is what he said. Like he spent millions and millions of dollars on. And all it does is it shows you reflections of stuff in the room, which is completely pointless. And then you can also flip the camera and it can show you the reflections from the outside. So there is a cool scene where like, the guy's like, you're in heaven now, and they flip the screens and it looks like Dwayne is just standing in the sky. So I guess that's kind of cool. But like other than that, that whole mirror room like has no business in being the movie. But there's a really cool mirror fight at the very end, and The Rock, like he kicks some guy off of it, and there's a grenade that explodes. It's really funny. Lots of good cheesy one-liners, which I really liked. All in all, I'm gonna go ahead and say that, like, out of all the movies that are out right now, I am 1000% confident that Mission Impossible is probably the more action-packed movie that you should probably go see. But if you really want a dumb movie, which I really needed, Skyscraper is a really dumb movie, in the best way possible. And I was really surprised because I don't usually go for that kind of thing, but honestly, if you're feeling like you need something that doesn't have that much substance, but a lot of good eye candy, then this movie will do you just fine. Okay, let's take a break ski here. All right. And we'll just turn that off and that off. Okay. Well, don't worry, you're not in the stream. Don't worry. you can leave it there. Laura's crawling, and she just handed me a pie. A pie? Uh-huh. Is it a pie? Yeah. What kind of pie is it? Bumbleberry chocolate. Bumbleberry? Bumbleberry chocolate. Oh boy. Yum. That sounds delicious. Bumbleberry pie. Thank you. All right. So yeah, okay. So let's continue. Let's keep going. Lost to watch. I don't think I can reach that pie. Actually, I'm gonna go get it. Give me a second here. So this is the pie that Laura just snuck in here. She didn't want to be on the stream, which is fine. Bumbleberry pie. I don't even know what a bumbleberry is. Oh man. Thank you. That was really good. That was really good. Oh man. I'll try not to eat too much on the stream. I promise you I will try not to eat too much. Okay, let's continue. Let's keep it going. Lots to cover. So I want to go and talk about San Diego Comic-Con. Now, this is a big deal. In a way. Big deal is relative. I mean, big deal in the world of nerdy pop culture shit, but not in like the state of the world kind of thing. But SDCC, San Diego Comic-Con, is a 4-day event founded by a group in 1970. Now, that I don't know this off the top of my head. Obviously, I Wikipedia'd this. It was originally called the San Diego Comic Book Convention, and it was originally showcasing primarily comic books, science fiction, and fantasy-related film, television, and popular arts, whatever. And it's evolved since then. Now it's like a big cosplay event place. It shows video games, manga, anime, toys, lots of like celebrities from all around the world come to this thing. And it's the largest convention of its kind in the world, and it has like Guinness World Records of being that big of a convention. Oh, sorry, this bumbleberry is making me all burpy. Now, every year at San Diego Comic-Con, they have a lot of trailers that come out, and they're like, this is what you should be excited about in the coming months or the year or whatever it is. And I handpicked a couple that I was like, you know what? I am very excited to see what's going on here. So we're going to go ahead and watch the first one. I handpicked 4. Now, there's a lot of trailers that came out, and I intentionally skipped some. Like some, I'm sure a lot of you would be excited for, like Doctor Who. I am not a big Doctor Who fan, or I've never really watched Doctor Who, to be honest. I'm sure I'd love it, but there's just, even if you watch it from the like modern Doctor Who era, like that's still like what, 10 seasons. That's too much. There's too many seasons. But I did end up watching that trailer because there's a new female Doctor Who, which is very exciting for the fans of Doctor Who. But I'm talking about stuff that, that I have somewhat of an interest for. So I handpicked 4. First one being Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. And I'll start off with that one. So let's move it around here. And show the window. Gotcha. So just watch the trailer with me and we'll talk over it, I guess.
I'm scared, Professor Dumbledore.
Everyone is scared of something.
Ridiculous!
Newt, you're up next. That's an unusual one. What Mr. Scamander fears above everything else is...
having to work in an office, sir.
Go ahead, Newt.
Ha 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 ha.
Ridiculous.
I can't put my finger on it, but I've never really enjoyed too many of the Harry Potter movies.
Blooms
First Fantastic Beasts was alright.
in rare souls.
Lots of
Still
bubbles.
we must skulk in shadows. But the old ways serve us no longer.
Why is Johnny Depp in this movie at all? I cannot. I liked it better when it was Colin Farrell. I'll be honest.
That he would rise to dominance over the wizarding world.
So you're asking me to help hunt him down?
I can't move against Grindelwald. It
Grindelwald.
has to be you. In your shoes, I'd probably refuse to. It's late. Good evening, Newt. Oh, come on.
You underestimate your talents, Mr. Scamander.
Their arrogance is a key to our victory.
Muggles are not lesser.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Not disposable.
You're too good, Newt. You never met a monster you couldn't love.
Credence!
Oh yeah. Ezra Miller's in this movie. The Flash.
Mr. Scamander.
Do you think Dumbledore will mourn for you?
When he said Mr. Scamander, he really sounded a lot like Jack Sparrow there. Ah. Crimes of Grindelwald.
Are you a ghost? No, I'm alive. But I'm an alchemist and therefore immortal. Oh, Nicolas Flamel.
Jacob Kowalski.
Oh,
You don't look a day over 375.
Yeah. So that's the first trailer I wanted to watch and kind of talk about. But I mean, the only thing I really got to say about that one is that, yeah, I'm not sure. Like when I first saw the first trailer of Fantastic Beasts, I was like, okay, well that seems like the same movie as the first one. And then the second trailer for this one seems a lot better. Definitely a little bit more excited than I was the first time I watched the other trailer, but I'm still really confused about what the story really is. I mean, I guess the title says it's the crimes of Grindelwald, but yeah, I don't know. Something about the Harry Potter movies never really get me too excited, and I love Harry Potter. Like Laura and I listened to like all the audiobooks pretty recently, and that was a lot of fun to just go through the entire series again. And the books hold up. The books are great. The movies are hit or miss. Like I like some of them to a degree, but some of the other ones I wasn't that big of a fan of. This one seems probably serviceable, but like you like Jude Law's Dumbledore. I don't really see him as Dumbledore, but maybe watching the movie will change my mind about it a little bit. But Johnny Depp's character 100% just feels wrong. Like, I don't know. I feel like any other casting would have been better, because the whole thing is like Dumbledore used to love this guy, used to love him, Grindelwald, in more than just a friendly way. And I'm thinking like, why would anyone love this guy? He's clearly a psychopath. The guy has like a scary eye and everything. Like, why would you love this? Anyways, I digress. Let's move on to the next trailer. Godzilla, King of Monsters. Now, I never saw the first Godzilla movie. I heard it's pretty good. I never saw Kong, Skull Island, which I also hear is really fun. So I really don't have an opinion on these movies, except that I really like this trailer, and it makes me want to watch the other two. So here we go.
Our world is changing. The mass extinction we feared has already begun.
So we got Millie Bobby Brown, which is exciting too. 11.
Infection.
So See, 11 would have been able to push all of that dirt away from her. She would have been able
But
to
like all living
block it.
organisms, the Earth unleashed a fever to fight this infection. Its original and rightful rulers, the Titans. For thousands of years, these creatures have remained in hiding around the world. And unless all the Titans are found, our planet will perish, and so will we. They are the only guarantee that life will carry on.
What is that thing? See, what I like about, like, I love giant monsters. Giant monsters remind me of, like, Pacific Rim, which I thought was a super fun movie. I never saw the second one yet, but this immediately makes me think, like, a crossover between, like Godzilla, like, franchise universe and Pacific Rim, like, big giant robots and monsters fighting each other.
You're a monster. I'm sorry.
Classic, you're a monster, but you're only human when there's other monsters actually around. Classic theme.
Long live the king.
Charles Dance. See, even in a Godzilla movie, it's... Oh god, look at that. That's exciting. I was gonna say, even in a Godzilla movie, you got Charles Dance acting like a Lannister. Yeah, I think that movie could be pretty fun too. So, like, I'm pretty, like, there's only two other movies I gotta watch. I can do that. Now we're gonna go into the last two of the evening. Let's talk about some Aquaman. So let's play it up here. So obviously, premise, or just to start off, we know how much DC has kind of screwed around with the franchises of the DC universe and continue to do so with this entire, like, Joker origin movie with, like, Joaquin Phoenix, and who else do they have that's in talks to be in the movie? Someone pretty big, I can't remember, but, like, this movie itself, like, there's a lot of fanfare for it. They're like, oh my god, this is the movie that we've been waiting for, but well, I guess let's be the judge together. Let's just watch it, and you guess you'll see. I'm not really feeling it that much, but it looks like a generic superhero movie, but that might be just what DC needs right now. So let's take a look.
My father was a lighthouse keeper. My mother was a queen. But life has a way of bringing people together.
We could unite our worlds one day.
Check it out. Arthur is talking to the fish.
Hey, fish boy. What a bully, man.
They made me what I am.
Khal Drogo, man. There he is. I mean, Earth Curry.
I've been looking for you. Your half-brother King Orm.
So
is about to
Aquaman in the
declare war
comics has
upon the surface
become,
world.
like, they've done a lot of work since,
The
like,
only
the
way to stop
60s or
this
whatever,
war
or
is for you
70s,
to
of
take
making
your
Aquaman
rightful
from being
place
really
as
lame,
king.
talking to fish, to, like, being pretty badass.
You do your best thinking when you're not thinking at all.
That was the worst pep talk ever.
Some people have a problem with Jason Momoa being Aquaman. Like, honestly, like, I have no problem with that. He looks the part. Doesn't have, like, the gold hair that some of the Aquaman incarnations have.
To challenge me for the throne.
I call it an ass whooping.
King Orm looks pretty lame. I'm not a fan of that.
I'm no leader. I came because I had no choice. I came to save my home and the people that I love.
You
think you're unworthy to lead because you're of two different worlds. But that is exactly why you are worthy.
Alright, here we go. We got Black Manta, which I'm stoked for. He's like one of the coolest DC characters. Look at this! Friggin' fish bug man with laser eyes.
We're here. What are you doing? Wait. Shouldn't have a parachute. Redheads, you gotta love them.
Aquaman skydiving in the desert seems like it's just it's bad news. It's bad news. There's no water around there unless he like sucks it out of like cactuses and stuff like that. Yeah. Honestly, on that watch, I actually was kind of into it, so I might have just like ate my words from what I just said minutes ago. But like, it seems like a slightly different Aquaman than what we saw in like the Justice League. Like in Justice League, like I didn't really understand his character much at all. Like he was kind of like an outcast. Like he kind of denied the sea, even though he's Aquaman. But you don't even get to see him like do any fish shark power at all in Justice League, so it was nice to actually see him like control the fish. So that, you know what, I'll give it. I mean, I'm a sucker for all these things. Like I'm gonna go ahead and watch all the DC movies, even though I don't know what they're doing with them. I don't even know if how coherent of a universe it is anymore, because like they're doing Gotham City Sirens, which is like Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, and Catwoman, and they're doing this like Joker origin movie, but they're keeping Jared Leto's Joker too, so there's gonna be two Jokers, and I don't know how they're gonna kind of put them all together. Still talks of Black Adam, so you know, the hit movie Skyscraper, The Rock is coming back, or Dwayne Johnson's coming back to play Black Adam, and segue into Black Adam's, you know, rival, the protagonist of this movie. And this is my favorite trailer of the entire SDCC, San Diego Comic-Con's like trailer lineup, is Shazam. Shazam, for those of you who don't know, is about a kid who inherits the power of Shazam. Essentially, there's like magical beings that give him this godlike power where he's basically Superman, but he's stronger than Superman because Superman's weak against magic and Shazam has like magical powers. Even though he can fly and do all this other stuff, he has kind of like lightning harness powers too. But he's a kid, so he's like a kid with a superhero body, played by Zachary Levi. So let's take a look.
You've run from foster homes in 6 counties. I can take care of myself.
When you're 18, give these people a chance, because that's what they're giving you.
This is Billy Batson.
Billy Batson.
Make sure you make him feel at home.
Great.
They seem nice.
Comic book here.
Don't buy it.
Comic book name.
It gets real Game of Thrones around here. Dude, just messing around. You look at me and you're like, why so dark? You're a disabled foster kid. You've got it all.
If you could have one superpower, what would you pick?
Everybody chooses flight. You know why?
So they can fly away from this conversation?
No, because heroes fly.
What, you need your fake family to stand up for you?
Hey! Man, sorry about that.
Go, go, go! Grab it! Get out the way!
I'm not sure if I'm not completely sold on the kit that they got for Billy Batson, but we will see.
Billy Batson.
So here we go. This is like the spirits that kind of like
as champion,
kind of take over Billy Batson's body in a way. Take over is the wrong term. Like they give him his powers.
Hello?
Give him the power of Shazam.
Say my name so my powers may flow through you.
Say my name.
Sir.
I'm Walter White.
Wait, for real?
Say, okay!
Shazam?
This means Billy!
What is happening?
You're the only person I know that knows anything about this Cape Crusader stuff.
Can I?
Oh, yeah.
If you want to see like a more serious version of Shazam, there's just before I forget, there's an amazing comic called Superior by Mark Miller. Read that. Oh, it's flossing, man.
Can you fly?
If I quit your realm, I still rock Mercedes.
So yeah, it's
You
like
okay?
Shazam. It's called
Why are you
Superior. Give it a
talking?
watch. Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
Sit down. You know, I don't think that's gonna buff out.
Your phone's charged. Your phone's charged.
The hell?
You're like a bad guy, right?
That's pretty cool.
Gentlemen! You have bullet immunity!
I'm bulletproof.
You're dead.
Sorry about your window, but you're welcome for not getting robbed. Oh, hey, what's up? I'm a superhero.
I think it's gonna be fun. I wonder, like, if they ever make more Justice League movies, it'd be really exciting to see Shazam enter the fold again. Like, he's a really fun hero. He has a really interesting take because he's as strong as Superman, but he's just like a 10-year-old kid, like, or 12-year-old kid. Like, he's a young guy, like in the body. So I think it could be good. So that's the most excited I am for the DC universe, I guess. Like, in general, Aquaman could be okay, but Shazam's looking good. Shazam could be the thing that we need until we see Wonder Woman 2, which I hope still is good. Yeah, and like, I didn't cover some of the other things from San Diego Comic-Con. Like I said before, like, I did watch the Mayans trailer, which is like the Sons of Anarchy fantastic show by Kurt Sutter, which they should have just finished there. There's the spin-off show called The Mayans, the other like antagonist rival biker gang, and the trailer is like, this just looks like knockoff Sons of Anarchy. It doesn't look as fun. And then you got like the Walking Dead trailer, which I don't care about anymore. I haven't watched that show since like season 6. Here it's still pretty bad, but I mean, people still love it. I guess there's still people are still watching it. And then there was other things that came out too, which I couldn't be bothered to watch, or I don't even know what they were. So I'm personally more excited about the superhero stuff. Okay, let's see here. So we got some people watching here. Hello everyone. Thank you for joining in and joining the stream. Feel free to ask any questions as we are wrapping things up for tonight's stream a little bit. But while we're doing that, and while wrapping up the show a bit, I want to talk about some things that I'm looking forward to in the month of August. So let's just cue up some music while we do that, shall we? Okay, let's do this here. All right, let's not get the music too overpowering here. In the month of August, it's going to be great. I Overcooked 2, very excited for that. Leslie Cherapy, host of the Improv Punch-Up and a lot of ranked episodes. We finished the entire of Overcooked, the first one together, and it was a really lot of fun. So I'm gonna have to make Laura, or get her to help me out with the second one, Overcooked. I'm excited for Monster Hunter World, the PC version. I was holding out for the PC version, and it's finally coming. In terms of video games, World of Warcraft expansion, that could be kind of cool. Although I don't know if I can commit again to the World of Warcraft, but somehow it always pulls me back every couple years. Christopher Robin, the Winnie the Pooh movie. Christopher Robin. Laura hates when I do that. I'm excited for that one too. I think it's gonna be. It looks fun. I mean, the actual Winnie the Pooh characters look a little like they came out of like rehab or something like that. But I think that aside, they look a little roughed up. That's why I say that. That aside, I'm still excited for it. 8th Grade, that Bo Burnham indie movie. It's been out in July actually, but in like the States, but it's coming around here in August. So I'm very excited for that. And Crazy Rich Asians, because obviously I want to watch that. That's the episode. Thank you for watching, everyone. It's been a really fun time to keep doing this show. I'm always excited. Thank you for everyone who tuned in throughout the show and everyone who wrote in the comments. I know I didn't have much time to read them in this episode, but thanks for watching again, and I'll see ya next time. Thank you again. Bye.